working on a new little bit. It's actually not a new little bit. It's a little piece that once again I hadn't planned for in getting myself to simulation state. Now, what it is my trying to get the default game plans and playbooks and all those things in play. Okay, so I've set up a system where I can create plays. Now plays are they just go into a default bundle, right? So they're just defaultable plays. But the thing is, I don't have a system for adding plays to the default game plan. I have no, short of going into the database and trying to pick plays out and telling it which ones to put into a sheet that's going to go be used for deployment. I don't have anything like that to make that work. So I need to come up with a way to do that. And so what I decided was, well, I'm going to have admin users who have access to all the default game plans and functionality. And so this way they can edit game plans, playbooks, and whatever else. Oh, did I do this? I don't know if I did that. Shoot. Okay. All at once. So I don't even know how this closed, to be honest. I thought I thought I was working on something, and then I came back to work on it and it was gone. So I'm not sure what happened. It's probably not here anymore. Some type, yeah. I have seen confirm. Yeah, it looks like it vanished. I don't know. Something must have killed this at some point. I don't know what. But ultimately, oh, you know what it might have been? I was probably making the mistake of trying to work in run mode. And when you do stuff in run mode in Unity, hold on, I don't know what happened. Some kind of goop in my throat. I don't know where that came from. I gotta change my title here just a minute. Boo. What do I do? Hold on. I'm gonna get this updated and then I will be. What am I at? 268? Sure, why not? Okay. I also learned, well, I didn't learn. It's been pointed out to me that a good system would be to allow for a lot of settings. People like settings, things to change and tweak and blah, 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 blah. And I get that. Probably not going to happen in the first iteration. There's going to be some things that settings are going to allow, but ultimately, yeah, I'm probably not going to have all of the things that that many people would probably like me to have in there. It's just not likely to happen. So just saying. All right, so where is, somewhere down here should be an invisible icon. I laugh because I don't know where it is. Upload, latest updates. Oh, there's a change team button. Okay, so change team button. I need this. Let's go ahead and let's have this. How would I do this? I think I will just have a panel. Sure. He says with a question mark. Alexa, turn on desk lamp. I have this thought in my head. I do want a panel. I'm just trying to decide where I want to put it. Do I want to put it on the home screen as a home screen thing, or is it a subset of the home screen? You're only ever going to access it from the home screen. So yes, you have to be on the home screen to access it. So, okay, let's do that. But I don't think I want to put it under, it's got to be its own thing, separate from the button itself. So, all right, so we're going to do this. And then I'm going to resize this guy down. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and make this change active team. You know what? I'm trying to think if there is a way to do this cooler. I want to do this cooler. Yeah, I have thoughts, and I think I have an idea. I see if I can get this to work. You know, it's all about with a game. When you're doing a game, you want to have cool features. If they're not going to be ridiculous, right? You don't want it to take up so much of your time that it's beating. I don't think that'll be what happens here. So that's why I'm thinking here. So what I'm going to need to do is, we'll call this the, we're going to go prefab. No, I'm going to rename it. That's what I'm going to do. User team selection. Yeah. Now there's a difference between, I have a team selection, I think. Oh, the announcement board has one. But the user team selection panel, which is different. I got announcements here. I got team name selection, team selection. Team selection panel and user team selection panel is different. User team selection panel doesn't show much. It's just going to be logo and name. That's all it is. Logo and name of team. And it's, you know, it's what you picked. I'm trying to think. I wonder if I should logo and team. That's probably the same thing. I might be able to use my same prefab here. Let's see here. So I noticed this changes shape. And that's because of what I have selected here. It doesn't change shape if you have it set for free aspect, which is typically for a PC game. So everything you do is going to change its dimensions. But if you have it set to like a demo thing, it'll keep that aspect ratio the whole time, and everything stays within that aspect ratio. So it just helps me to be consistent. And so if you don't want to work with constantly changing aspect ratios, it's good when you're testing your game's ability to reshape. But if all you're doing is like dropping some stuff in and you're going to work on that later or as the next step, but if you're just doing basic stuff and you don't want your resizing the screen to have an effect on your I don't know, on your if you don't want your resizing the screen to have an effect on your UI element creation, use this, put this in simulator mode, and then select whatever item you want as your norm. So I'm using the fold, and I typically use the tablet mode, and I also do it in landscape mode. So now, if I go back over to scene, and I change this, every time I resize my screen now, this, let's see, where is this? All right, so I have this in my screen. So now every time I resize my screen, this is going to stay. It's not going to shrink and get. It'll shrink, but it keeps its aspect ratio, so your stuff doesn't get all out of whack. So just a little tip: if you're in Unity and you're new, because obviously this is basic stuff for you, for us basic Unity people. This is something I discovered. Set your simulator, your game scene into simulator mode, and pick an object you want, usually a tablet or whatever that has a fixed aspect ratio. And then when you're in here, resizing the screen will not retweak you. Yes, you're going to have to come back and edit that so things adjust for game screen, but for like immediate one-time shot stuff, for like if you're only testing in one screen for now, put it in a fixed aspect ratio so you can adjust. I'll show you something later that I kind of created that you can probably come and create yourself that allows you to adjust things that will fix with your dynamic setup. But for now, that's one of my little hot tips. So hopefully that's something you can find useful. Okay, so back to what I was doing. I'm putting, like I said, I want to put this in here. I'm thinking about using my prefab. Let's see if my team option selection, I think this is just 2 items in it, right? It's just the team and logo. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Team name. Okay, so yeah. Oh, yeah, so this will be perfect. I think I'll just do that. So we're going to dynamically add this to my scene here. Hey, Karama. Good afternoon. Let's see. Well, let's see. Good afternoon to me. It's probably what? Let's see. It was 9 p.m. and you said it was 4 a.m. your time. So we're going to go back 6 hours. It's still late in the day for you. Or 4 a.m. you said, right? 4 a.m. It was 9 something at 4 a.m. So that is actually 7 hours. So 7 hours from now. It's about 10:30 p.m. for you right now. Is that right? 7, yeah, around 10:30, 10:30 or so. That's my mathematical guess as to what time it is in your part of the world. You have to let me know how close I am. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, so let's see, I need to add a view container to this, which is essentially going to be the same thing I have in Playbook here. So we'll just go here, here, here. Oh, that's a scroll. Oh, that's a scroll panel. Is that a scroll? Canvas render, canvas group. So I want to do the same thing. Sure, let's just copy. Let's do the same thing. We're going to go to my here and we'll add canvas renderer. And do I need to add a component? Sure, we'll add a component called canvas group. Just because I'm hoping if I do it the same way, I'll have all the parts in place. I'll probably have to work with AI to actually do the population because I'm still a little green on that. But I'm getting more familiar with what needs to happen here. So I need to have, what else do I need? Canvas renderer. I should have probably focused more on the actual item I want. Oh, this is playbook. Yeah, this is fine. No, user. This is the one I want. User. That's what I should have called. What is this one doing? This just have a canvas renderer. Okay, so maybe I don't need what I put on there. I just have a canvas renderer. Maybe I don't need this. Maybe I do. AI will tell me when I get around to it. I'm still learning this stuff. All right, so we have this one, and it needs to have a scroll view put in it. So I need to add a scroll view. UI scroll view. And we're going to resize this guy, and we'll just kind of make it take up the whole screen. I'm going to, the goal here is to make my logo portion of this. I don't know. I'm going to see if it's possible to resize this so that the item inside never changes size. And yet so whenever you click on this, it'll be automatically selected on the team that you have. But it will it'll shrink down to just the logo of the item selected. That's what I'm thinking. That's my my delusion at the moment. Let's see how possible that is. Because I'm going to be using this a lot. So this is going to be my key item. It's going to be a feature available to everybody who has more than one team. But for me, it's going to be for my admin users who are going to have access to default teams and system teams and system playbooks and whatever else. This way I can create those, tweak them. This will also be one that I can, like, if I want to, I'll be setting teams, but I might go in and have to set, I'm going to need access to like all the coaches and all of the things that have, like the teams themselves will have their own playbook, and I'll need to edit those, all these kind of things. And ultimately I just need to create the default ones, which are going to carry over. I'm trying to decide if it would be better to copy for everybody or just have layers. So you have your default playbook, which every team has. They all use the default team. And then every team has their own like little, what do they call it? Their own concept playbook, right? Or game plan, which overlaps it. Basically, if there's any overlap, the team one comes first. And usually it's going to be a much smaller, maybe more, it's going to have a lot of specifics. And then you have a coach layer. The coach layer would go on top of the team layer, which means the coach comes in, he does his thing, and he adds his own ideas, and he makes adjustments, and he does his own thing because that's what coaches do. And then there's the player level. The player is the one, when you want to edit your own game plan, you create your own game plan, and it overlays that. So there's basically 4 layers. Now, I don't know if that's going to cause a huge problem. Okay, so I'm worried. I don't know about performance in that scenario, because what's basically going to happen is it's going to take the top layer, it's going to look at the users. If there's any scenario, it'll find it, but it's going to look for specifics. Now, the idea that each one of the game plans at the lower levels are built on a generalization. So, and the user is probably going to create specifics. On every 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line, I want to go for it. You know, they're going to put 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line when I'm behind or ahead, or they're going to put very specific scenarios. That's the thought. I mean, that's what most people would want to do. They have thoughts in their mind of what they want their team to do in certain situations. So they'll create these specifics. While the default game plan is going to be very general, like on 4th down punt, and then on 4th down punt, unless behind by 14 or more. You know, just some general stuff that says if you're not behind by 14 or more, punt. You know, so I'm gonna create like a common sense game plan that's very general, nothing minor, no gutsy calls, just what teams typically do in a, hey, this is beginner coach 101 kind of scenario, right? And then if you have everything covered in every scenario, it might even be dumber than that for the default. It's just going to have the basics. And then the team game plan will have like more specifics, like, okay, this team's kind of a passing team, so maybe they pass on these kinds of plays more often. You know, they'll do the same kind, maybe they take the same game plan and they make passes. So I'm trying to decide if what's going to happen is I'm going, instead of just creating layers, do I give a copy to every team and then every team just tweaks it, and then that team's version of the game plan is this, and then have the coaches, they'll bring in their little ad bits. They will be an overlay because it's not permanent, and it's the coach can get fired and he'll go away and they'll put in another overlay. So coach has to be an overlay. And then there's the user, who is an overlay of sorts. I mean, the user gets priority, right? But the coaches is always going to be in there. So the like say for example, both the user and the coach have a 4th and 2 scenario. While the user's game plan will come in on the higher percentage chance of being called, The coach's one will come in at a slightly lower percentage. He is the coach. He gets to pick. And then there will be a fourth play that'll just be maybe one from the default, or maybe just one from any random position, anything that qualifies as valid for that play. Like, for example, maybe it's a fourth down, right? And the fourth one might just be a field goal or a punt, because those are the most common things. But the other three plays will be whatever plays you've defined as your game plan, or the coach's game plan, or the team game, whatever the custom game plans define, which could be field goal also. I mean, they could potentially have more opportunities for higher percentage chance. Maybe if the coach is saying, I want to kick a field goal in this scenario, and the player and the fourth is a, well, maybe there'll only be 3 plays to pick from. I don't know. Just something that says these are the other options. And, you know, you could, if you don't put in, like, you're okay with it being field goal, you don't create a custom for that. You're like saying, yeah, well, this is good. Let's do a field goal in this. I mean, usually a user wouldn't want to change the scenario unless they want something different there. And so that's what I'm trying to resolve in my head when I get there. But for now, I'm trying to create the ability for me to edit those things. Because right now, I cannot edit them. I have no easy way to get in there and just view the entire default game plan, or the team game plans, or coach's game plans. So I got to make my admin accounts, my creator accounts, capable of editing those items. So hold on. I'm sure where this came from, to be honest. All right. So that's the plan. And now I need to get this in place. I think I am going to use that. So let's explain what I'm trying to do here to Bezier. I'm not actually sure how the logic of this. This is going to be used in .tween. And I will bring Bezier over here because why not? Bezier, I got a new one for you, my friend. Let's see what we can come up with. How hard is this? I don't think it'll be too bad, honestly. What is all this? Oh, I added some project rules. Okay, so let's go here. I could probably close this. Do I need it? How do I close this? Go away. Hello. Okay, I'll do this. New task. All right, not a new task. I set up a user team selection dash panel in the under the home screen panel in the hierarchy. I want to update the I want to set up the implementation of the change active team button with the following. I put in this new panel let's name this. We'll go team list, scroll view, sure, scroll view. New panel. I put in this new panel a team list scroll view. the teams belonging to the user. It should load them using the team name. No, is it team name? Oh, shoot. Is it team name or team option? Team option summary? No, it's team. Oh, team name and logo. Okay, yeah. Team name logo. Using the team name and logo prefab. I wonder if, I think I should probably, you know what, I probably should add an active value. I think I need to add an active value on the back end to the selected team. This way, whenever you log off, the last team that you had active would be the active team when you come back. So if you log off a team, it's the active team. I think that would be best. Kind of like when you play Marvel Snap and you come back and there's a different deck that's active. It's weird though, because whenever they do a major update on Marvel Snap, your active deck gets removed and it goes to some other deck. It's usually like a deck I haven't used in a while. It's not the first deck. My first deck is called my starter. It was the first thing I ever created. But I'm not sure how that works. I mean, it does keep your last decks, but if they do a major update, it's like it resets that and you end up with some other. It's like at some point they added the ability to lock a deck. And then there's a default. So whenever they reset everything for a new update, it goes to whatever the deck was when they implemented that ability or that feature. I don't know. It's irrelevant, but I'm just saying they have a buggy setup for their last active decks, but I'm going to implement it and it won't be buggy. It should load them using the team name and logo prefab, which means while I'm at it, let's go ahead and go back here and give that feature. Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to go here and we're going to say add to the user, create user / user collection, user function, and thus the user collection a last, how about is active selection. Value that when users that have add to the create user function and thus the user collection a is active selection value that when users that have more than one team log in, it can be used to make sure the last team they selected is the one loaded by default, or the last team they had active is the one loaded by default. of course, the first team, of course, any team that is created and selected, any team that is assigned to a user in the league creation process. Let's see, how did, let me go see what function I have set up for that. Oh, that was a big major thing I did yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I renamed all of my stuff, which was kind of a risky maneuver, but it really turned out not too bad. I say that because it was not too bad. I did run into problems, but I got sick of looking at PFFM and FPFM and blah, blah, blah. And I needed to standardize and create stuff that actually worked under my, we'll say my current working title, which I believe is the final title. I'm kind of set on it now, fantasy football. But I wanted to kind of line that all up. Now, I did realize, however, PFFM is easy to type. FPFM is easy to type. FTZF, not so much. It's not, it's a little awkward. FTZ. I think it's because it's one hand the whole time. There's no back and forth. Little, like, got stuff on both sides of the keyboard. So it's one hand, FTZF. So maybe I'll get better with it over time, but it's a little clunky because you're basically on the left hand side of the keyboard, and you're reaching the diagonals, right? So you got FTZ, FTZF, FTZF. So you're doing the diagonals bit because you got the T way over here and the Z way back here and the F in the middle twice. So it's just an awkward type. I don't know. And then you type the rest of it. So in my structure of my application, I went with FTZF MS Go, which is the microservices, and then the language I'm currently working in, the tool I'm working in. Just because if I have other things, it'll be something else and what I'm using, and it kind of just identifies to me what I'm using. Now, I could have just said FTZF microservices. I could have done that. It might have been easier than saying Go because I'm not changing it from Go, but whatever. I went with FTZF Web and FTZF Unity. Because Web and Unity are both UI, so I can't say UI, right? I have to identify which UI I'm working on, and Unity is taking care of all of my other UI elements, and then I have the React with the web, which is only taking care of some right now because right now I'm not focusing much on that except for the purposes of the play editor, just because the Unity part is going to be the main part, and I will do the web one, but it's going to be kind of like an add-on, a feature, or something I give at a later time while I'll tweak that during the, maybe towards the end when I'm getting ready to release. I have so many missing images though. Missing is that I just haven't created them yet. They're not important. So anyway, so I did go in here. I have my leagues. Where's leagues? Common, game plan, gateway, leagues. I don't know why these are red. I'm still trying to figure that out. There's something making them red, but because I've checked everything in, so it shouldn't be any red. But whatever. And they're all running okay, so it's not like they're not compiling. It's probably the tests or something. There's probably something weird with the tests. Oh, what is GoMod? Maybe there's something going on here. FTZF, FTZ. It could be that they just haven't been updated. Let's see here. I don't know why it's called this, because that's not what it's called in, or that's not the proper syntax of the actual the GitHub. I don't know why it's doing it that way, but it is. What can I say, man? It's just weird. Yeah, anyway. Why is that different? We're in game plan. GitHub, Daisy, FTZF, FTZF, MS, Go, game plan. That's common. Replace, common. Yeah, I don't know why this is awkward. Go module leagues listed in Go work file. Oh, Go work? Do I need to go down to Go work? Is that part of this guy? No. So it must be in the root. Go. Where's Go work? Something. What I just saw. Go work. That's in the user account though. Let's see. Go. Huh. So simulator and streamer don't have that problem. Weird. You know what? I wonder if it even bothered to update them all correctly. Oh, no, it's the same here. So I don't know why it's doing like a first letter uppercase thing there. That one's not complaining. Whatever. That's not the point. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go. Leagues. Okay, so we're in leagues here. We're in league with the bad guys, man. I believe it's called create user, but I could create team, create get league. How many lines is this? Oh, I may have to break this up. Look at that. Oh wow, that's way big. Oh yeah, I got to break this up. That's big. I need to break my service file up. I don't know. Figure out league creation maybe, something's in here that's way too big for that. Get random team. Is there a way to compile? Is there a way to compress? Always share. Nope. I know Visual Studio lets you assign user to team. Okay, so there we go. All right, so unload a default any team that is assigned to user via the assign user to team function in the recreation in the leagues service should automatically be set as with is active selection true, which of course should set all other teams assigned to the user, if any, is active selection yes. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll go back over to my Bezier here, and we'll continue on with this. I want to load all the teams belonging to the user. Should load them using the team and logo prefab. The team where user ID user where is active team selection. Oh, I think it's just is active selection. Is it active selection? I forgot. Is active selection. Okay. It should load them using the prefab. The team with is active selection true. Returned with the return. Oh wow, I'm gonna have a problem because I haven't loaded this. I have to go find it. Because I changed everything. My names are all broken. Is it Unity? And then it's probably in here. Ew, I didn't even change the name of these. I should. FTZF. I don't even know if that's going to work, but we're going to find out. So, when you say Wii vacation, are you saying you're gonna be playing the Wii on your vacation, or do you mean Wii like WEE meaning small? It's a Wii vacation, or are you talking about I'm gonna go play Wii? Now, okay, here in the U.S., it's WEE for like a wee tiny little thing. But where you are, it's probably WII. There's no reason why it couldn't be. But I just think of Nintendo Wii when I see WII. It goes to show you what I know. Let's see what all that. So scripts, we got to go to game processing and game data and leagues. Man, I cannot click the right spot. There we go. Leagues data. That's it. That's the whole thing. Fetch team selection list. Create league. Assign user to team. All right. So where's the teams coming from? Simulation, matchbook, game roster data, game plan, game data, API handle, auth data, admin data, fetch team selection. Well, it's not fetch team selection. I don't think I want team selection. You got to start looking for work for the summer. Oh, is your seasons flipped? You guys got opposite seasons from us. You're just heading into summer, and because for us, we're just heading into winter. In fact, yeah, wow, we're in the middle of fall right now. Let's see. I know one of these must have game roster data, game plan data, game data, API, admin data, playbook, player data? No, I think we player data, simulator. So do I go by, it can't be leagues. It's not going to go into the leagues data. It must be user data, right? I mean, it makes sense that it would go under user data. But if I put it under leagues, it also makes sense. Sort of. I don't know how to do this. I don't know the best way to do this. Do I go to the leagues because it's in the league service? Or do I do the UI and have it be logical from the UI perspective? If I go logical from the UI perspective, this is actually just getting user teams. But if that's the case, I don't have this made up because I have like matchmaking data, which is weird. This must have been an AI creation. I would need to have like I mean, this is part of the league setup, but this is not league setup in terms of getting users. Game data? Game processing? What the heck is game processing? That should be like part of the simulator service. Simulator data. Get simulator. Run game. Get next play. I don't have any idea how that's supposed to be different. Start game session. Coroutine, boo. Gotta get rid of that. Next play. So that's part of the simulator. And this one is what? Run game. Get next play. Okay, so there's definitely an issue here. So simulators stuff and game processing are the same stuff. One of these is redundant. Which of these does not belong here? I think probably this one, but I'm going to put it down here. Wait, what? Why aren't you letting me copy? Huh. Guess I can't move it that way. Because it's a class? I can't have two. Wait, why can't I have two classes in there? Huh. Alright, I can't do that. So if I want to... I think this guy is deprecated. I really don't think this one's right. Game session. I do have game sessions. But... next play, fetch next play, those should all be part of the simulator process. I actually think a game session should be part of the simulator process too. Why is that doing that yet? Was this your brilliant idea, AI? Get simulator URL. Run it again. Starts with get next play. Yeah, this one has the get next session is all it does. Simulator. Yeah. What all they got here? Play system, current session, game session, fetch, game session. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff I need to merge these two, but it's throwing me off. It's not relevant. Let's get. I have to figure out a way to. I need to put that on my list of to-dos. I don't want to forget that these two guys do not belong here. All right, let's go to let's go back here. Are we done? Yeah. Nope, we're not. Okay, so we're gonna go here. I'll go put my my ClickUp link. So do you have nice summers? Are they hot over there? All right, so I've got to go to simulator. I guess simulator. No, I don't need to go simulator. I'm gonna go to Unity. Close you. I'm gonna go Unity. I'm gonna go FTZF, assets, scripts, game processing, and game data. And I'm gonna go to simulator data. And then I'm gonna go, let's see, Control CU. Wait, wasn't that Control CU? Nah, AI slop stream. You call it what you call it, man. If you think that, I am working with AI. It is in no way the master of my domain. But yes, I do work with it because it types way faster than I do. But if it's not your thing, Feel free to move along, but I do use both because, hey, it's got to be done. Please select the space first. What do you mean a space first? Huh? What, I don't have an active space? What do you, wait, what? I click a link. What are you talking about? I don't have an active space. No active space? Holy McMullions, how do I not have that? Oh, I know, I don't do that. Am I not logged in? I may not even be, am I not logged into this? Personal, no, profile, yeah, that's the one I want. There we go. Now we can try this. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and add this to what, my simulator? I have so many things to do. If you think AI can do what I've done in the last year all by itself, you know nothing about AI, because AI would not have a clue how to do everything I've accomplished in the last year. All right, so because AI is stupid. All right, where is it? Where is my simulator? Oh, there it is. Game simulator logic. All right, save load, coach component, play execution, load player stats. Boy, all right, I guess we're gonna go. Is it UI? I don't even have a UI. All right, let us go here. We'll go simulator. All right, simulator UI. And we'll create a task. We'll say merge the game processor. What is it called? Is it game processor? With, is it game processor? Game data, oh, game data.cs. Oh. Game data.cs with simulator data.cs. Oh, did I do that again? I do that all the time. I have to do this first. Now we did that. All right. No. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't create a task and a subtask. That's fine. Whatever. Merge game data with simulator. Okay, so we got that in place. And it is currently in backlog, but it's definitely something that's going to be done, so it's not really an idea anymore. We'll just say ready for development because that can be done at any time. Okay. Now, let's go back to my Bezzy. What is Bezzy doing? Oh, I haven't put it to work yet. All right, so let's go back to my UI. Let's see what else I need to do here. So we have my league data. All right, so I've now got it. So I'm going to create the UI. I've already created this instance. I'm trying to decide if I want to load it into another object. Do I want to create one for team management, or should I just add it to this, to the user functions? Because you're just getting the user teams. Create user requests, create user response, user result. Good grief, that's so weird. I like that, but how do I want to design this? Structurally speaking, I do need to figure out how best to do that's the rosters. I don't need that. Because I wanted to put it in the most logical location. guess it could be league data, but it just league data feels like it's not about the league, though. We're just getting the teams. Once they select the team, then the league that they're in would matter. But it's more like, just give me all my teams first, and then when you select it, then that league will load. But it's separate. Yeah, I think I'm going to have the team selection, user teams, be in the user account. I think that's the best way. Let's see here, what do we got here? Update user game details. Get user game details. Well, it is already here. User game details, but that's not team selection. Delete account, get random team. Get random team. Oh, it's because I used to. Yeah, there's some stuff in here I need to. I've restructured, refactored how my my backend services are created. I took all of the team stuff out of the user accounts and put them into leagues in general, because you get your teams back with the league that it's in when you're dealing with simulations and looking at their standings. But in terms of just getting the basic teams, so some of these are kind of weird. Create or update teams. Get teams by user ID. So I already have this here. So I think I will just use the same one. So we're going to get all the teams by user ID. This should return a full response on all the teams. So I'm thinking that this process should have made it up so that my common needs to be regenerated, because that would make the most sense. Or maybe it already did it. Yep, it already regenerated MakeGen so that my proto files are updated, so that's good. And those are going to return hopefully the new value, which is I had it add in the is active state for each team. So now it now it needs to be implemented, or it should exist on the front end, because it's encapsulated within the response. In fact, it probably should be. Let me make sure it did. You got the proto buff in there, so assigned to is false, updated, get user session modified to look for the team with the is active selection true, falls back to the first team effective. This ensures the correct team is loaded by default when users log in. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Other teams the user owns are automatically set to false when the user logs in. Get user session retrieves the team marked with is active selection team as the default team to load. This ensures users with multiple teams. Okay. When the user logs in, get user session. So all services compile. All right, so what it didn't say, which one? I need, it's not, all right, so that means I need to rebuild user account. I'd already built it, but I need to restart it. So we're going to go down here, we're going to go ahead and stop user account. And did it update gateway? Because I see that it updated leagues. So I got to restart leagues too. And then I don't see that it updated gateway. Oh, it did the whole thing here. It did do common, which is good. So all I had to do is, it's a simple thing. So hopefully it didn't blow it up. Well, normally I go through and I have to look at code and fix it after the AI is done. it's funny because I had AI help me build a stadium on my front end, and if you have any experience with AI, you know AI is no math genius. Simple things like adjusting numbers to tweak stuff is not an AI specialty. So, so when it built the stadium, I have to do things like adjust the radius of the arch for the end zones, right? The end zones have their own arch. And I ended up having to put in all these variables that I could tweak it so that I could make it, if I want to have more space between the tiers of the stadium. Like if I put 20 tiers in, which I do on the sides, but I only have 15 on the ends, just that's my default. What I'll probably end up doing at some point is separating the ends. So having like the end have their own tiers to select settings, but they all use like a radius on the arch. And man, oh man, the trick with AI, and I say this over and over again, is know when to pull the plug, know when to stop going down the rabbit hole. Because it's real easy with AI sometimes to get caught up in okay, we got this bug, and AI tries to fix it. Still got the bug. Oh, AI tries to fix it again. Oh, that's something. All right, we still got this problem. AI tries to fix, and then after an hour or so of that, you're like, you have to like know to say stop. Never mind. I'm just gonna go do it myself. And the other day, when I was working on this stadium, I have to admit, I gave AI like half a day to solve a problem. And I don't know why. I couldn't flip that switch in my head. I kept thinking, oh, it'll get it right this time. And we'll do this. It'll get it right this time. And and it's almost like stubbornness. It's like, I try to explain it better to the AI. I'm like, okay, this is specifically, it's like, oh, thanks for the explanation. Okay. And it goes in and tries again. And I was like, no, it's not it. So I did that for like, it might have even been a day. And finally I just said, no, forget it. I finally pulled the plug. I went in, looked at the code. It took me 20 minutes to fix it. All I had to do is find where it was. I put in a variable for myself to edit on the front end. Added this little adjuster that would adjust my end zones to line up with my sidelines. And then I just tweaked my variable, and before I knew it, I had it lined up. I was done, 20 minutes. I was like, oh God. If I'd adjust, it almost becomes one of those things. You give AI, set a number, 2, 3 tries, whatever. Pick a number. It shouldn't be more than 3. I mean, honestly, if it can't fix the problem within 3 tries, it's not going to be able to fix it. And you're just going to be going. I get it. I understand. People are there. They're working with AI. And if you don't know code at all, okay, maybe I kind of sort of get it. You try to help. You try to say, nah, you try to work because you don't know code. You don't know how to go in and fix it. But if you're at all a coder, you have any coding experience, and you're working with AI, set a number and say, okay, 1 try, 2 tries, 3 tries, stop, go into the code yourself. You'll probably figure it out yourself at that point. Just go look at what it's doing, and oftentimes you'll probably be able to figure it out and do it yourself. As long as you've got some kind of coding experience, hopefully in the language you're working in. I built this app using C#, so I'm familiar with C# syntax on the Unity side, but I had never even heard of Unity when I started this application. I never heard of Golang. I didn't even know Go was short for Golang. I didn't know what Go was, so I had to go look it up. And then I was like, what's Go? And it starts talking about, and it says it's Golang. I said, no, not Golang, Go. I did it. This is how little I knew about Go. I was like, what? Oh, they're the same thing. It's like Golang is just short for, or Go is short for Golang. So I was like, all right. But it's supposed to be, a lot of games use Go in the back end. Well, several of the mobile games and they use it for the microservices on the back end. And that's known to be a pretty good language for that. Pretty fast, pretty usable. And I said, all right. I've never heard of it, but sure, let's do Go. and then so on the front end, I had some experience with React. So I actually built some in that I had about 6 months of experience with React. It's because I took a online class and I played with a little bit on an app and got a little familiar with React, but I felt better with it to start working on my base UI. So I built my prototype in React. But again, I didn't know these things very well. I don't know all of the object models and all of the underlying parts. So I worked with AI a lot. The thing is, until December, I started in November, but I barely used AI in November, and I was kind of piddling along because I was trying to learn and do these language things and work with AI. Once I thought I had something, I'd ask AI. I wasn't gronking what I needed to do as much, and I thought, okay, because I hadn't really known what AI could do. Okay, so I started learning to just ask, so all right, AI, can you do this? Is this? I said, I'm like, this is probably over its head. And here's one thing I learned about AI. It'll never tell you it doesn't know how to do that. Or at least I've never ran into anything. You can ask it anything and it will try. That doesn't mean it knows, but it won't admit, oh no, sorry, I have no clue on that one. Good try. Nope. It always says, oh, let me see, I can do that. And it goes and does blah, 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 and comes back with something. And if you're using like people who vibe code, true vibe coders who are just, they don't know code, they will they'll activate AI to do an app. Oh, I got this great idea for an app. AI, build this app, and here's all the details. And you get better at vibe coding. You create longer and longer documents, and you learn to break it up and give AI something like that. And AI will maybe get what you want done. But if you watch enough of these vibe code examples online on YouTube, you realize it gets it wrong most of the time, and you have to go back and forth with it. And if you don't know code at all, most of those guys who are doing vibe coding online, they're coders. And they will go back and make the app work after it's been created. But a lot of these apps that you create with vibe coding could create thousands of lines of code because they are reasonably complex and they can type super fast. And they will get basic functionality right. There may be some minor compile errors, but it can usually fix those, and you can go run it, and it'll eventually be a fully compilable thing. It may not fully function the way you want it to, but it'll do something, and it'll generally fix errors. But don't expect that to be, I say generally because I have run into plenty of times when it couldn't fix it, and then I have to go do it myself. But usually, Claude's pretty good about fixing its own errors. Some languages, not as much. ChatGPT is kind of and then I use Copilot. I use a couple different languages. I use Copilot, which isn't its own AI. It's just Microsoft's interface to multiple AI. So I have Copilot and I have Claude, which is kind of redundant, but I have them at the $20 level. So it gives me enough that I can get through them. And I also use Bezi. Bezi's AI, which from what I understand is mostly Claude 4.5, the latest. But Bezi has its own extension to Unity, makes it better at reading the Unity object models, the Unity hierarchies and the inspectors. It's just better at that and understanding that and being able to help you get through your Unity designs. Now, it can't create hierarchy objects, but what it'll do is it'll help you write some basic code, and then I often go ahead and go, okay, well, you mostly got it, Bezi. And that's what I was saying. It helped me with my Stadium, get the basics in there. It built the architecture, which probably ended up being 600 lines of code in about a day. But I had to go in and actually balance out the numbers and the parameters to do what they had to because Bezi couldn't figure it out. But that's okay. I mean, one of the problems I had was in addition to being able to space out and set up all of my Stadium parameters, it could not get the textures right. And I was like, what the heck? What's going on with these textures? And I had to do a lot of research online, non-AI, because AI kept giving me the same answers, didn't matter what I talked to. So I had to look around and look for people answers. And some of them were useful, but ultimately they pointed me in the right direction. And the ultimate problem, I think, turned out to be just the way I was doing. I was creating a Unity mesh, and I saw online on Reddit and stuff, some people were saying, use a Pro Builder mesh, which is okay, but I still haven't figured out the magic with textures on Pro Builder, but I do have it looking like the textures are showing up, but with Pro Builder, the textures rotate as you go around the arch. I don't know why they do that. It's like the first few panels are upright, the next couple are sideways, and then as you come around the arch, they're upside down. And I'm like, why do they rotate like that? I have not figured that out. If you know anything about AI and Pro Builder meshes, and you can tell me why the texture I have on my arches are rotating as they go around, please. Between me and AI, all I did was get it to look correct as far as actually looking like the texture. Because when you first put it on there, because of the way, I don't know, the cubes are or whatever on the mesh, it just looked like this blurred dots. And what it ended up being, that even at a 1-to-1 tiling, or it was kind of funny because if it was a 1-to-1 tiling, it looked like dots. And I thought, well, increase that, right? Go up to 10 tiles or 50 tiles or something to increase that number. Turns out, apparently I was going the wrong way. I don't know. Just because of the way the mesh works, I guess it shrinks the areas. I don't know. It was weird. I ended up having to put decimal values into the tiling. So basically making it produce, was it more tiles? Yeah. Less tiles? I don't know. Something like that. It was weird because I had to go to decimals, and I figured, well, you get more tiling, so it would squish it, make it smaller if you go with more tiles. But that's not what happened. I was getting totally weird, but when I got decimals and I made those numbers go down, which essentially would have created, I thought, less tiles. I don't know. It confused me the heck out, but ultimately decimals fixed the problem. AI never suggested decimals. That was one of my, what was it? Reddit posts or some chat GPT thing I found that said, try this, and I did. And it got it to look mostly right. I can actually show you what that one's doing. So like you can see my stadium down here, and then I go, here's my stadium I created. I'm not great at maneuvering here, so bear with me a minute. I still have not learned the beauty of... All right, so you can see my fence. Oops, down here, right? So there's my fence going around on the straights. Now the straights are fine. It's got the top part of the fence. It looks pretty much like I want it to. And then you go around to the ends here. Now the first few panels are sideways. Oh, I thought they were upright. But if you go around here, I don't even know what's going on here. So they're upright-ish. It's not. Like I said, it's weird. These meshes are dumb. So they're upright-ish, but the top of the texture is in the middle of the fence. I don't get it. Hey, Chewin, how you doing, man? And then I come over here and it rotates again. It's on the opposite side. So yeah, it's doing weird stuff. I have not figured out what the heck is going on with these textures. And again, if anybody knows how Pro Builder textures work and how I can make them all look correctly, like the sideways panels do, all be upright, please do let me know, because I really don't know the answer to that. And then I put my wood planks on the seats, which, why do you do that? Sometimes it works. All right, let's do this. All right, so I got my wood planks on the seats. They look pretty good, but you can see when I go around the mesh here, they're still just straight, right? They kind of go around and they're straight lines. And so everything looked kind of weird. Like you would not build wood plank seats this way. They should look like lines that go, they should just kind of shift around. Like the planks the seats are being placed on the thing. And I know there's probably a way to do it. There's some expert Unity guy out there to be like, oh yeah, just do this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that one. The other option is you create a bunch of straights. I heard somebody say do that, but that sounds like a lot of work. So instead of creating an arch mesh like this where it goes all the way around, just create straights, one like section, like this sideline section, and then just put them all next to each other. But the problem with that is every tier would be, I would have to somehow figure out how to do every tier, because see how each tier would get wider, because you can't just do straights or you end up with gaps in the middle. So you have to, the top tier has to be wider than the bottom tier, and then you have to have it angled. When you do an arch, they shift and angle so they'll match up, which doing straights won't do that. So I don't know. I'm not even sure how important it is, because I don't think people are ever going to see that. Because see, the game view is like this, right? See, I mean, you're rarely going to see the seats. In fact, if I'm doing this right, you know, you're going to see this most of the time. You're just going to see the players on the field. These two little guys in the middle of the field. I know they don't look great right now. I'm working. I got to figure that out. I've been looking around getting some ideas. Some suggestions are to try to figure out how to put a backlight on them, so it kind of gives them a rim lighting, which makes the players pop more. I'll worry about that later when I get into the making the graphics better part. But and then when you do get like maybe it's a bomb and you can see the sidelines a little bit, you're not going to see all the plank seats anyhow. You're going to see people. I'm going to try to figure out how to put a crowd in there, so that there's a kind of like a crowd filling the stadium. So the only problem is you will occasionally see these end zone ones, which are all janky. So I don't know. Just developer problems. Stuff that people are going to notice. They're going to be like, why are the sideline walls all wonky? I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to notice that. Stop noticing those things. Oh, look, something's weird. I don't know what I did. I didn't realize my sideline walls got out of sync. How'd that happen? What the heck happened to my sideline walls? What? They dumb things. They were. Oh, that's right. That's something I had to fix. That's right. I put that on my list of things to fix. So, okay. Now you see this weird gap and there's this weird coloring going through here. That's because I shrank my stadium to overlap my track. So I had a track, like this is like a college field or some field that has a track, like an Olympic field or something. But most professional fields don't actually have a track, and they're closer to the stadium edges. And so I just dropped it on top of my track. I could probably turn the track off and that would be noticeable. What I probably end up doing is just putting ground underneath this somehow. What I'm thinking, what I like to do is build a scenery around my stadium. Just shrink this guy down to where he's just like sitting over here, and then add trees and a plane and build my little town and city around this stadium. A lot like you see in my main view. See this thing. Just like you see this little field here, I want to put my stadium there and then add some assets that actually build huts and actually have this area be what you see in this scene. So when you click on it, everything kind of works. So instead of going to that button I have that's going to the sim page, you click on the stadium, it zooms in and you can start selecting what kind of game you want to play, that kind of thing. That's what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm not professional, but I have been watching some videos. I'm so hoping someday I can draw my world. Don't ask what this cube is. I got to get rid of it. That was just me doing something because I was trying to do something. I don't even remember what I was trying to do when I built it. But it's an irrelevant piece of the world. It's just a cube. Let's get rid of you, man. Go away. You're cluttering my world, man. Get out. All right, so anyway, back to task. Back to task. It's funny. All right, so now, as you know, Chun. I don't know if I have. So am I supposed to pronounce the E, or is it just what? Is it just Un? Chun, or is it Cheun? Cheun? Sorry if I beat up your name and I don't say it right. Apparently, Gna there assumes every time you use AI, it's just AI slop. Right. Spoken like a person who's never actually tried to develop anything massive. Never in his life has he tried to develop anything big with AI. Of course, you know, that's not that hard. That's not that unheard of, right? Because AI has only really been strong for about a year. It's been around longer, but I mean, it's only ever really been heavily used in the last year or so. Sorry, probably 2 years. I have only been heavily using AI for almost a year. I started with it about a year and 3 months ago, just kind of, you know, get my toes wet. And then about a month into, after I built my prototype, or maybe even when I built the prototype for this game, and it wasn't even a prototype, it was more like a POC, a proof of concept. Get myself proof that I could do something. And now it's like beyond anything that I ever did then. But I did that all in React. And that's kind of when I started using AI. And then more and more, I thought, you know, AI is a great teacher. If you really want to learn a language, AI can teach you a language. You just got to make sure that when you're going through, say, hey, what is this doing? What is that doing? How does this work? Why is it doing this? And AI slowly will explain stuff, and it does a really good job. And what's nice about learning an AI, learning a language through AI, is you get to build stuff you want to build. Have you ever like taken an online class and it has you building some business to business crap? It's like I want to build this. This is boring. I don't want to do this. This is dumb. I want to do something cool. And if you're doing something cool that you're having fun with, you'll stick with AI, right? You'll continue to, you'll stick with it and continue to learn. If you're bored, I mean, I think that's why a lot of people probably don't finish online classes, is because whatever they're doing in the class is dumb. I've never liked, I think all through my high school years and any classes I ever took, I never liked the things they had me building. And that's partly because I have a mind of creation. And I get ideas in my head that I want to do. And now I'm stuck for the next however long the class is doing this dumb thing when I could just go and do this cool thing I have in my head. Now that thanks to AI, you can do the cool thing in your head and still learn whatever you're working on, because you'll see and build and go with it. And it'll help you to get that going, and you can actually watch your idea, not the dumb idea that the class is trying to make you do, come to life. All right, back to my AI slop. It should load then. It should load them using the team. The team. There. Oops. Let's see. The team return with the user session. Would be the one selected. When the button is clicked, I want to use .tween to expand the panel, show the full, not the full, show all the teams with their names. Let's say it. So let's put a highlight on it with a highlight around the active team. Highlight? Sure, highlight. We'll see how that goes. I probably have to put the highlight in myself because that's probably a hierarchy thing. You build it, you put the hierarchy on it, or the highlight on it. Bezier can create objects for you codularly, and I like codularly. Codularly? Sure, we'll go with codularly. I don't know if that's a word. You know, okay, so being a coder like I am, if you go look at a lot of demos for Unity, they have you doing this. I have never been in this screen, by the way, but when it has you do things that are logical based, there's these panel things. It's like a UI programming bit where you're plugging parts in to different things, like for textures and meshes. I've seen that a lot. And I've done stuff for a couple of items that utilizes that would otherwise be done there. But I do it in code. I don't like, there's a lot of stuff. For example, here's another example. That's what to say for another example. When you do stuff in the hierarchy, and I've noticed that there's plenty of Unity users, developers. We'll call them Unity developers, not coders, because I don't know that all Unity developers are coders at all. In fact, I think a lot of them aren't. A lot of new ones, especially, like they don't know C#. And so when you work with UI or AI, and AI by default will try to create code pieces for you and then put all of the references on the inspectors, and it'll say put this script into your inspector and then put these objects in the hierarchy and reference them. So this makes it so the person who's very graphically inclined and very Unity UI inclined, they can conceive what you're doing. Oh, okay, I create this object and I put it in this script, and this script goes and does magic with it. I hate that. As a coder, I just despise that kind of programming or that kind of setup. And I'm constantly telling AI, do not use hierarchy objects that all they are code references in the code. So you're basically creating these code objects with a component attached and referencing that inside of another code object that needs to know about that object. And so you're basically making all your classes and code reference each other through the UI. It's kind of like going, instead of just plugging into each other, you're saying, hey, go through this UI, come over here and plug in this way. So now everything's doing this. You've got this detour goes through the UI, and then if you make any significant changes or you change these objects or you do anything that changes these functionalities significantly, maybe it could break your UI connection. Now you have to go back into the UI and reset those objects. And it's clunky, and it really clutters your hierarchy in Unity. I mean, Unity is going to get busy. You're going to put all kinds of objects, panels and buttons and views and scrolls and all these other things. And it's going to get busy, especially if your app gets big, right? You're going to put all these assets on there, and they're going to be massive. Learn to work with and view your code in a way that makes the code stays in the code and the UI objects stay in the UI. Your code should not be taking detours through the UI to function with other code. It's just going to add so much more clutter. I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's just so inefficient. I hate the idea of code taking detours. Using You want to have singleton references. The other one is don't use coroutines. That's another one that bugs the heck out of me. Use awaits. I don't know. They're just more efficient. They're actually more modern. Coroutines are an older process. Yes, they probably both work. I don't know. One's faster. I think awaits and awaits are more efficient. That's me. But hey, teach his own, man. You do what you do. You. If you want to do coroutines or await methods, hey, whatever, man. But I'm on. Let's not use dumb stuff. It's funny, I say dumb stuff. You know, awaits weren't always the thing. They were standard not that long ago. So of course, if you've been using coroutines for 10 years, that's what you know, right? That's your thing. But I tend to be a person who tries to stay fairly current. So if I'm using something that's new for the first time, and I see that there's the new way, the way that's suggested now versus what's been popular and big in the past, I will always go with the new, even if that was a solid, truthfully good enough scenario for the past. And even if I go and update code, if I find out that something I did is dated, see, that's one of the advantages to being your own developer, right? To being your own, designing your own games, your own things. You can go into the code and go, this isn't standard anymore. I don't like this anymore. Let's restructure that. And I say let's because, yeah, I bring in AI to kind of help me restructure stuff sometimes because it does fine. It's actually pretty good at refactoring most of the time. One of the things that AI is not good at is reusing code because it doesn't always know about it. So when you're working with AI and you know that you've already got certain pieces that exist, make sure that you include that in your AI prompts. Like you see me doing this bit where I'm saying, you know, use the Team Active logo prefab. We're not going to create a new prefab. Use the objects I created, my change active team button and my team list SV, which I've already created. I'm already created this value. Now I need to tell it the team where is active solution return with the user session. Now the user session, I need to tell it is going to come from the user accounts data.cs. User account session, which I believe is coming back in the lots of stuff. Where was it? Update team. Oh no, the session is what's coming back in the response. Never mind, that's the response. That's this guy. So this is the session that gets returned, so never mind. But I do need to tell it that I want it to use the same get user teams function. So when the button is clicked, I want to use .tween to expand the panel to show all the teams with their names. And a highlight around the active team. How about their names? And logos. And a highlight around the active team. The list of user teams should be pulled from using the where'd it go? Get user by ID, get user by name, update user, is user don't allow, set stream key. Where'd it go? It's like I think it's get user teams by ID. But it's around here somewhere. Get user teams, name allow, sharing key. Oh, there it is. Get teams by user ID. There we go. Should be pulled using the user account data.cs. Get teams by user ID. method. What else? What else do I want this to do? This is a little complexity. Oh. Expand the panel, show all the teams. When a team is selected, what do I do? See, I want to, I don't think I obviously don't have a function for this yet. I don't think it was created in the back end here. Did it create a function for that? Let's see. User teams for range. There's, okay, so Claude code, this guy, it's not as mature. If you use Tailwind or Cursor, or even for that matter, Copilot, there's a lot of things that are more mature. In those applications. Claude Code is fairly new, I believe. And, well, Claude Code's been around for a while, but I don't think it's as mature in the sense that it's not as feature rich. There's a lot of things when you're using those other, like you can click on it and you can tell it, keep the Copilot's got some cool features in that you can keep certain changes. I love that. Like you can go through and go, oh, this is really good. Oh, I don't want this dumb comment in there. Get that out. Oh, you're adding some weird debugging lot or console comments. I don't need that. Click. Or if you don't like something, you could change it. You could just change the text or whatever. That stuff you could do with Copilot, and it takes you through the code and you make the change and it does it. I think that's because Copilot works within the code itself. It changes the code itself. See, these references you see here in Claude Code are, hey, this is what I did. These are the changes. But this whole screen here is not the actual code. So you can't change anything. You cannot edit it. It's a picture of what it changed in the actual files. And unlike all those other languages, there's no option here. There's no option here at the bottom to take you to those files and show you the changes. I could click on, I think I can click maybe here, and it takes you, but it doesn't really give you a way to see. Did this actually take me to the change? No. Huh? Maybe. I don't know. Is that the change? I can't tell if that's the change or not, because it doesn't really have a comparative and doesn't show you anything. It is highlighted. So what's this one change? Oh, proto doesn't even take me to the proto file. Yeah, I don't know where that one's going, but this one takes you somewhere. Is active selection. Okay, so it adds some stuff, but there's no add or reject or anything. You can't just do little pieces. Hey, I'm good with this change, but this one's no good. You can't do that with Copilot or Claude. If you have it say ask, you can review the change before it plugs it into your code. But again, it's only wholesale. You can't say, oh no, I don't want this piece and not that piece. It's the whole change or none of it. It doesn't let you edit it. And I wish it did, but c'est la vie. We'll live with it. I'm just looking at the changes that Claude put in here. I want to see if it did anything for the, see, that's the service on user account. I don't know if it created me a set active team function. That's what I'm looking for. Is. changes here. Got to make sure all my parts exist. I'm gonna need a gRPC call that lets me set the active team. Doesn't look like it did. All right. Add in a gRPC gateway service function that calls the gosh, I don't know. Do I need to have a team service? Because I don't know if I want all team stuff to be in the leagues. Because some things you just do with the team. And I'm having trouble with the whole go through the leagues to do all the team stuff. That's kind of, I don't know if that is the best way to do that. Which means I have to create another service. I'm creating a lot of services. I mean, that's what microservices are. I mean, microservices are supposed to handle one thing, one process. But right now, I'm getting a lot of them. Okay, so if I go look at my, let's minimize this right now. All right, so we got, this is my microservices. Okay, now if you work for a mega corp, you're probably like, that's not a lot of services. But it's getting to be a lot of services in my game. So I've got the AMG auth, which is my authentication, which, by the way, this AMG auth is not exclusive to this application. This was designed because I have a couple other apps that I have using AMG auth, and they have their own gateway that's going to go to AMG auth to call and get authentication. What this allows is if, for some bizarre reason, I happen to have people who are using two of my apps, they can just go through the same authentication, use the same login. It'll just log them in. They'll just be logging into a different app. That's my desire, so I set it up that way. Anyway, so I have AMG auth, I have admin, I have coach, the common, of course, which actually loads up with all of those into all of their microservices. This is, you know, cross service thing. I have a game plan, gateway. I have leagues, playbook, players, player skills, simulator, streamer, system init, and user account. And that's currently how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I create a team service, it will be 13. I guess it's not a lot of services. It feels like a lot of services because they're all fairly meaty. You know, they've all got, they all have, all right, maybe it's have. Got might be the wrong. A lot of people hate the word got. It sounds weird, but they all have upwards of a few thousand lines of code. At least. Some of them have lots of lines, thousands of lines of code, but some of them have more than others. And some of them aren't finished. Like the simulators already got like 3,000 lines of code, and it's not even close to done. All of the methods and functions that are there to instantiate player actions or to execute player actions are not defined yet. And some of those are going to probably have, I don't think any of them are going to be overly complex, but still, that's going to probably multiply that by another 1,000 or 2 lines of code at least once those are all done. And then, I mean, the gateway has calls to all these services, so it's got, and all of the methods that go to the front end, it's probably got a few thousand lines of code. I got to do a line count again. I haven't done one in 6 months. I'm thinking my line count is pretty freaking high right now. Because when I last did it 6 months ago, I had 250,000 lines of code. And that was not counting any of the application files. In other words, the junk that comes with Unity. Unity's got hundreds of thousands of line of crap that goes in just when you instantiate stuff and put stuff. It's got its own lines of code. It puts a boat ton of stuff. I had to I had to fix my my get ignore to stop pulling all the Unity crap in because it was stupid. But yeah, I had a ton of junk, and I filtered all that out so that the code line counter only looks at my code that I have created, or in some way is created for the sake of the application. It's a lot, a lot, and I would think I'm probably closing in on double that right now. I would think I'm probably closing in around 500,000 lines of code. If you think you can get a vibe application, a truly vibe coded application to code 500,000 lines of fully functional, not nonsensical spaghetti code, you, my friend, are delusional. You do not know AI. And this is why I say we are nowhere near AI ever being a threat. I don't know. AI is getting better. But AI is going to have to, I don't know, I guess maybe AI doesn't care if things are efficient, right? As long as it works. If AI is going to take over the world, it doesn't mind creating a really clunky application that's a big fat hairy mess, as long as it works. It's probably better for not having the humans get into your code and breaking it, because they'll look at it and go, this is horrible. I don't know what this is. This is the biggest mess of crap spaghetti code I've ever seen. And AI is like, ha 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 ha, just like I planned it. It's not that I could fix it if I wanted to. Yeah. Anyway, back to it. It's 5 o'clock. Yikes! All right, I haven't even set Busy loose on my big command. I've been setting Claude loose on the back end commands. I need the back end parts functioning. How did you parse a gateway service function that allows you to call front end to set user active team. You know what? I'm really thinking I need a Teams collection, a team service. Because there's a lot of things you'll do with team. Like you might want to get the roster, right? Why would you want to go through the league service to get your team roster? Don't need it. Who cares? You just want to go straight to the team. But honestly, if I take all the team actions out of the league service, so if you create a league, it creates teams. And then you got to pick your teams, which will go through the leagues because you got to get the league teams. You got to pick your team from that. But then what? And then leagues will do things like handle schedules and allow you to bounce around, look at other leagues. I guess there's some stuff going on there. Different types of leagues, league settings. All right. I guess leagues will have plenty to do if I take the team stuff out. It also means it won't be overly big. But that means I gotta create a new service, and I probably have it set up exactly the same way. Which means, how did you ever a gateway service function that allows me to call the front call gateway? All right, let's do it. All right, screw this. Okay, I think I need a new service. Following the same architecture of the other leagues, of the other services in my Go services. create a team service. Be sure to include all the base files. Store, home service, main, grpc underscore handler, did I do it? And types. Create in the grpc or in the gateway service a new teams.go file that will handle all the calls to the grpc to the team service. Make sure it is set up with the other service files in the gateway service. This is one of the things that AI is actually pretty good. If you give it a good direction, it's really good at building secondary objects or with services or anything that follow a pattern. So if you give it a good example pattern that you like, that works for you, AI is really good at this, or at least Claude is, or it's been my experience, that it'll build up a nice functional base service based on my other services, doing it the same way. It won't create, so if I just said create a team service, it would go create a team service and it would be something totally different from the rest. And I would be like, no, you're breaking my code. You're making it look ugly. And it doesn't work the same. So, but it's really good at following patterns, matching something. And the thing is about creating a service, at least in Go, been my experience, there's a lot of files and a lot of base code. Main, gRPC gateway, the service files, the types. Well, some of those don't have anything in them until you create that stuff. But what I'm saying is all those things in order to function have to have their parts in place. And as soon as you start adding, like say your first function or method, your first database fetch function or database action function, you've now got the types, service, and store all in process. You also have, if it's going to be called from the AI or for the UI, it's going to go through the gRPC handler for that service. It's going to need a front-end piece on the gateway. It's going to need protobuf file updates, protobuf file and protobuf file settings for the structure of those objects. It just becomes huge. There's a lot to do there. And if you are just coding it yourself and you're not using AI, I guarantee you a new service is like, oh, that's a 2-day effort to get it all functional. Okay, maybe it's a day. All right, if you're really, really, really good and you know services like the back of your hand, maybe it's a half-day effort. And maybe it's 2 hours. I don't know, but AI will get it done in 5 minutes. So it's still faster. I don't care. If you're, I don't know, I'm trying to give credit to where credit's due. There are some people who are crazy good at just, they type fast. They just know. I've gone on to, I've watched some of these YouTubers. One guy was trying to teach you how to do gateway services or how to do services. And all he did was like, he looked like like his video was on fast forward. Maybe it was. Maybe he recorded it and then put it up 2 notches. Because when he was typing, it'd be like, then the little menu thing while he's swapping pages is swapping around, and he's teaching you. He's going, you need to do this and then fill this in and then do this filling and then you jump over to here and you fill this in and you do that. You create this file and you do, and you're like, brain overload. It's like, dude, you are the worst teacher in the world, man. You are the absolute worst. You are like not explaining nothing. All you're doing is typing it out. It's like no one's learning from you. they're trying to follow you, but it doesn't apply to their code, right? Because it's not the same thing. And they're like, okay, he says do this and this and like I lost him somewhere. And then on top of it, this guy didn't even show the menu structure half the time. So when he's flipping through files, you don't even know what file he's on. And he's got tabs up here that are only showing half the time because they're like, he's moving his screen around or whatever they're moving around. So they're just popping around and you can't tell which file he's on, which one he's working on, which one's selected, and he's just bouncing around. And you're like, what are you digressing to now, Ken? Stop it. Just get back to your work. I do digress. I'm sorry. Let me get back to work. Make sure it is set like the other services, like in the gateway service. Other services files in the gateway service. Move the team-related functions that exist in the user account service to the new team service. That is the get teams by user ID and any other team specific functions. They should also be located from the corresponding gateway service and profiles. Add in a gRPC gateway service function that allows UI to set user active team, calling it and in the FTZF UI Unity service app project, add I'm giving it a lot. I'm hoping that this might be kind of a big command that's hopefully, I think they're small tasks. It's just a lot of words. So I'm hoping I'm not overwhelming AI's chances at success with this command here. So I guess we'll find out. Add a teams. Oops, I guess we're doing capitals. Help teams data.cs. I'll do the scripts / game processing / game data folder that will handle all the team specific calls functions. This may also require moving the get team by user ID function to the new file from the user account data.cs. Make sure the call setup uses the same API call processes as the, I don't know, other data files, such as playbook data, leads data, etc. Additionally, you will need to add to the, nope, not the core, it's the wrong one. I thought editor, nope, editor, nope. Is editor? Ah, server config editor. I think that's the one I want. Nope, that's not it. Dang it, where's it at? That was core. It's not core? Nope. That's not it either. I don't even know. I have a lot of crap in there. I really got to clean this one up. So when I was working on the scripts, again, working with AI kept trying to create new things to try to fix its problem, and I haven't gone through and cleaned it up. That is a problem. When you go down the rabbit hole too much, you will find yourself giving AI. AI will clutter your code. I'm just warning you. Plan on having cluttered code if you give AI too much chances to fix a problem, because it'll just keep trying to new things. I mean, you got to give it credit for trying, but it's not great. I don't know how to pronounce that. Greetings. How is that? How's it going? J. Fury. We'll just call you Fury. I have no idea what you're saying. I think you're saying, greetings, how's it going? How's it going? Sure, we'll go with that. I can't tell what that icon is. It looks like a duck with sunglasses. It looks like a duck with sunglasses, or a duck's head with I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the graph is either. Why do I have a graph? Graph. How's it? Graph greetings. Is that a Christmas tree? Like holiday greetings? How's it going? It's going good, man. It's all going good. I'm plugging away here. I am doing good. Set up using the API call processes as the other data files, such as playbook data and league data.cs. You will have to add new entries into the assets /resources/server config to make whoa, that was weird. Make API calls to the team's service. Teams endpoint. Oh, I already have a Teams endpoint. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, that's probably true. Actually, I'll just have it use that. You'll have to add new entries. So, no, you wouldn't even have to do that. There is already a, oh, yeah, Teams endpoint. A Teams endpoint in the, that's right, resources /server config.cs. It will have to be updated to instead call the team service / teams what else do I need? Get team URL. I don't know. Oh, okay. And the get team URL will be usable. Usable? Usable? Do I not know how to spell? My brain is going. I'm losing it, guys. I don't know if that's usable. Is it usable? I don't know. That's that must be usable. God, jeez. Ah, my brain's going. Will be usable by the new API calls. Lastly, do a quick scan for other Teams calls in the gateway service. Now, that would be good candidates to move to this service. That said, do not move the leagues, teams. Was it get team selection or whatever the heck it is? Get leagues URL. You know, that's kind of weird. The get leagues URL. Player system settings, admin, selection list. Path component for team selection list on the league service. That said, do not move the leagues teams. Selection. How about this? Menu teams. That should be part of the league. In that you are getting the teams via the league. Related to that league. However, if it would be a better practice, you can move the actual get list from leagues to the team service and have the league service call get teams by league ID within the team service, just for better separation of duties. But the front end still logically should, you know what, I'm starting to think I'm wrong. The more I think about it, maybe you do go to the team service and get the leagues, get the teams by league ID, because they're still just getting teams. Oh God. You know, sometimes you just got to be direct, right? Stop going around in circles. I'll just dump this whole piece. Yeah. All right, let's just... I have a feeling I'm introducing some potential new bugs. Because this is a pretty major rework. Anytime you create a new service, or anytime I've created a new service in this application, it's usually to take on some of the duties that other services are doing that are starting to get outside of their scope of work. So with microservices, they're micro, right? They're not supposed to be a full-fledged do everything service. They have their focal point. Like I have a simulator service. Its job is just to run the simulation. If it needs data from anything like from coaches or playbooks or game plans, it'll call those services. It doesn't care about that stuff. It's just going to run the execution of the play. It's going to move the players around. It's going to execute their skill checks. It's going to create the play log and send that to the UI. But it doesn't store any of the information related to players, teams, leagues, anything on within the service. And the same goes for those individual parts. You know, leagues, yeah, there's these leagues and they have their parent objects and they have their settings and then they have their schedules and they have, you know, whatever's involved with a league. But the teams themselves are their own service. Teams have rosters and management for those teams. They have your logos and your character models and all the stuff that's related to what those teams represent. And they're going to have their own set of stuff that goes on with teams. Maybe you call a team from the streamer. It's going to go through the team set. It's going to say, hey, these are, maybe I don't care about what league a team is in. So if instead of going through leagues to call a team, maybe I just go through teams and get the team. You know, I go if I need a random team, which is what I do on a quick play, it's going to go to team service. Hey, team service, give me a team. That's all I need. So we're going to have these different services. They handle their one task, their area of expertise. And this way, when I need something, I just call that one service and it handles the whole kit and caboodle. Yes, every service could make its own call to the database and go, hey, this is a user ID. Go get me a team that's related to the user. Go get me all the teams. But then you start having like your user account, which has to handle things like user settings, user properties, user general information, user account information, game. User accounts going to store stuff like it's going to have access to things like game settings and all of those kind of things because that's what the user account's for. This is what the user wants in their game and how they want to set up their game. So, what the heck, man? We have a delivery? What's going on out there? There's nobody home. I'm all by my lonesome today. My wife's not home. None of my kids are home. And it's Monday. I'm just sitting here cranking away, and it's 5:30 at night. I don't know. Tonight might be a full night. I mean, I will have to stop, go get dinner, and then I might take a break and watch a TV show or something. I like to clear my mind a little so I could refocus. But like, how long have I been doing this? 2 hours? It's not terrible. Now this is a pretty big one. This is going to take Claude some time to combobulate or contemplate. I do have a Bezier command I've been trying to prep, but Bezier is set up to only do UI stuff. And if Bezier is doing its UI stuff, I can have them go at the same time if the UI stuff is not going to reference any of the back-end stuff. Otherwise, what Bezier is going to do is it's going to try to recreate, or it's going to try to create the back-end connecting API calls which will conflict with what Claude's doing. So I need to make sure Claude's pieces are in place before I have Bezy come along and try to make those API calls, because I don't want Bezy to interfere. Claude has access to all my code. Bezy only has access to the UI. So Bezy's only seeing the UI side of the project. It doesn't know about my Go backend microservices. So Bezy's all about doing stuff in Unity and helping me get Unity functioning the way I want. Anyway, the list of user teams should be pulled using the user account data.cs. Get teams by user ID. So I don't even need this. When a team is selected, the list of teams should be pulled using the. It's going to be teams.cs. Get teams by user ID method. When a team is selected, the panel should shrink down to show only the logo of the selected actually, let's do this. When a team is selected, I'm throwing ideas at Bezy. I don't even know. Well, let's put it this way. I don't know if Bezy can do it. I know it's possible, but I don't know if Bezy can do it. But then again, I've asked a lot of things of AI, and I wasn't sure if AI could do it. I'm hoping it can, because otherwise I have to do it. It's not a given. I mean, there's been nothing yet, fingers crossed, nothing yet that I have not been able to figure out that AI couldn't figure out. You know, I've been able to, AI can like get you to the point where you're like, okay, it doesn't know the finishing steps. But now that I've seen it and I looked at its code and I know what it's trying to accomplish, I generally can figure out the finishing parts. Plus I can conceive it. So it's like once you have all of the base parts in place, I can do things like, well, I know I want to put this at like index level 0. And if AI doesn't know how to do that, I'll do it. To expand the panel to show all the teams with their names and logos and highlights. When the button is clicked, I want to use .tween to expand the panel and show all the teams with their names and logos. And that's all with this. And the active team at the top of the list. The list of user teams should be pulled using the teams.cs get teams by user ID method. When a team is selected, it should be moved to the top of the list, and the panel should I wonder if I should put on the bottom of the list. The reason I'm saying the bottom of the list is because on my UI, I'm putting it in the lower left corner, which I don't have to. I guess I could move it anywhere. My head, I'm thinking, hey, make it dynamic, so wherever I put it on the field, it fixes itself. But if I put it on the bottom corner here, if I put it on the bottom of the list, then the thing can expand upward. If I put it on the top, it'll expand downward. Huh. I'm also thinking where it put it if I put it at the top. If I go to the navigation panel, I'll make it available. This is the home. Okay, so I mentioned before my long-term plans. And by long-term, I mean not this week. And sometime in the future, may not be as long as all that, because I may actually attempt this in the next few weeks. But I'm thinking some of these buttons may get replaced, like this button here. That button may go away because I'm thinking what I want this button to be is connected to an object on the screen. I like the idea of navigating by objects on the screen. It just makes the screen more than a picture. Have you ever played a game like, what is it called? Watcher, is it Watcher of Realms? I think it's Watcher of Realms. Is that right? I think it is. Yeah, Watcher of Realms. If you've ever played this game, it has a bunch of objects on the screen that are navigable by just clicking on them. Like you can go to the store for buying stuff and it's a little dwarf standing in front of a store. You click on that store. Or there's a dragon on the screen that you click on and you go do some stuff that's not dragon related, but the dragon is giving you abilities when you do things where the dragon is. And then there's other little characters and things on the screen that you click and it does different things, but there are things on the screen. To be fair, Watcher of Realms has like 1,000 menus and buttons too. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff. It's got menus on the top and objects on the top, and it's got stuff on the bottom, and then it's got a couple little items on the left menu. Watcher of Realms has got stuff everywhere. You're clicking all over the place, but it does have objects on the screen. Now, a more simplistic thing that's out there is a game called The Program. It's on the Android phone. Wow, so is Watcher Realms. Watcher Realms has got a PC version. If you do it, if you play The Program, it's a college-based football manager game too. It's got a simulation. Its simulation is the crappy kind, you know, the lines moving back and forth on the field, and you do some very, very rudimentary, very basic management of your team. I mean, one of the, strangely enough, it's very simple, but the feature I like most on there is the scouting. I don't know what it is. The browsing around between every day you get a move, or actually it's not every day, it's once a week. You get a move from one spot to the next, and you get to like find a new player that maybe you're navigating the country and you're trying to. But the thing is, it's a paywall thing. Yeah, if you want to move around better and do more on the what do you call it? On the scouting. If you want to do more on the scout, jeez, tell you I'm getting tired, man. If you want to do more on the scouting, you got to get you have to get airplane tickets, and of course you can buy airplane tickets. You get one airplane ticket a season. Maybe you get more as you go along. I've only completed one season. I'm halfway through another season. I won my first game. Woo! It's one of those games. It's paywall based. Everything you do, you slowly get better. You're slowly upgrading. You're recruiting players to make your team better for the next season, right? So you're trying to get guys that are going to make your team overall better, but you got guys who are graduating, and so you're going to lose some seniors. So you're constantly trying to get new guys to fill in. And you try to get as many guys as you can to fill your team, and hopefully you're better the next season. And it takes a while because the paywall system is simply, it's all set up where the more you pay, the more you can do, the better your team gets. The better your team gets, eventually you're going to be good, right? You're going to have better players because they're all going to be great players. You're going to have 4 and 5 star recruits. Your whole league team's going to be blah, blah, blah. You're going to win more. You're going to get more. And I do like the recruiting system, but it's kind of fun to travel around the country and get your guys and have them join your team next season, and then you try to recruit them, so you get them and they're not really on your team yet, right? So you got to email them, and you have this little setup where you're like trying to, you make personal calls with them, you make specials. I mean, there's different states of types of things you can do, and it just costs you more of this resource. And you only have so much of it unless you have lots of money and you're paying money into the game. This is the pay part. But if you have more, you can give more, which means you're more likely to get these recruits, right? So if you get some good recruits and you want to get them all, and you're willing to pay money to the game, you can buy more of this resource and do more of the things you need to guarantee that they join your team next year. So yeah, if you're trying to do it for free, it's going to take a lot longer because you're not going to be able to get all these things working for you. Anyway, it's still pretty cool. It is kind of, like I said, it's very basic. There's not a lot to do, especially if you're not paying, because you can't do some of the things you would like to. The training, it's not really a review of that game, but the point is all the objects on the game. Well, let me rephrase that. It does a very basic, it's not 3D, so it's just an image, and on every image they put flags over all the objects that do stuff. Like you'll have a flag over the stadium for when it's time to go play a game, or you'll have a flag over this building that looks like a store, and you go there, and you have a flag on this thing that's about recruiting. I don't even know what it was, an airport. I don't know if it was an airport, I can't remember. But it has a flag there. So you click the flag. So it's kind of like you're clicking on the object. It's on the screen. It's just a very, it's not a true 3D. And what's funny is if you really look at these images closely on this game, on the program, you can tell they're AI generated. There's some really funky things going on in some of those images. Somebody did not draw those. Those aren't cool. Somebody drew up art thing. They have AI flaws in them. Weird duplication of pieces, and some stuff just looks wrong. Although the stadium kind of looks pretty good, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so it takes a basic version route of having the buildings be clickable. I would like to have actual buildings be clickable. Now, to be fair, I want to do stuff like have some kind of indicator that these are clickable buildings, right? So like on my screen here, I did something like that already on my React app. I have a React app that uses the same image, and I put areas of clickability behind like the stadium, behind the field and the building here, because I only have the two. And they open up the simulation panel, which is essentially this, and a coach's hut, which is both of these items. They go under the coach's hut because this is the playbook and the game plan. So you click on this, and then you can go to the coach's hut, coach's thing. So that would take care of all three of these buttons if I took those items out and put them under here. And then you see I have a whole bunch of other buildings that don't do anything. But that's just because this is the image that was created. If I created my own image, my own 3D world, and put buildings on it, well, I would only put buildings that mattered to me, right? I'd only create the ones that my game can use. Like I might have a front office and a coaches and a fitness hut, a training hut, something. I mean, because you got to remember, mine is fantasy. So we're not going to have, I don't know, I have to figure out logical fantasy terminology for some of these things. I don't know, just like, if you listen to fantasy books, you're going to have different types of buildings. You know, you've got the council center, the head, the head council. You can have huts and town halls and meeting halls. I don't know, just stuff that you typically would hear and see in a fantasy setting. You might not have certain, like you aren't going to have skyscrapers in a fantasy world, right? So you're not going to have this giant building in there. I mean, you could have a big tower, but it would be, you would say tower or castle or something. You would reference things that are fantasy because I want my entire game to hold its aesthetic. And with the only except, like even my stadium here, you can see I'm outfitting it with wood. I got to make the back part. I haven't colored the back yet, but I have wood panels. I have wood seats. And what I want to do for the banners that are going to go on these banner walls is I want to make them look like medieval banners. They're going to have the zigzags and stuff on them, the little cutouts. So it looks like they'd be something you'd see on a castle wall or on a banner wall. So, and then you won't see AstroTurf fields. There's no AstroTurf in Fantasy Worlds. So I'm going to have different styles of grass and mud and dirt and other things that go on for different locations. And no, it probably won't have any effect on the game because reasons. Unless I do weather. Weather may have an effect on games. And when I say mud, it'll probably be something like dry, like dried mud, just dirt, black, brown dirt, whatever. Because I want to try not to have the field in its natural state be affecting. But weather may have an effect in the future at some point. I haven't decided when and where. That's an enhancement I want to put in later. But for now, we don't have that. So there's only so much I can do in the first iteration. I'm going to add more. That's okay. So if anybody's curious about my pricing structure plans, here's what I'm thinking. And I'll bring this up again in the future. If you missed this, know in the future. This is what I'm currently thinking. I've noticed that a lot of the management games that are on Steam, and I'm going to go through Steam first. I'll tell you why in a minute. Because I'll tell you. I'm going through Steam first because when you buy a game on Steam, you buy the game on Steam. Most of the time. There are pay-to-plays, but those usually have mobile phone versions, free-to-plays, that kind of stuff. They exist, yes. Don't get me wrong. But it's not uncommon. In fact, most games are just buy them outright on Steam, right? If I were to go through mobile first, then I have to figure out a pricing structure because people don't buy games on mobile phones. They just don't. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is having what I call I don't know, for a lack of a better term, which doesn't really, you don't call them this anymore, but a shareware version of a mobile app. Shareware, as it used to be called, was basically a free app that was only free for a limited time. And then if you like the game, when your time was up, you pay X dollars to get the game. And so what I'm thinking is the PC version will probably have more features. It'll probably have the most stuff. Whereas the mobile game, I don't know. I don't know how different it'll be. In fact, it may be the same. I don't know. Which is going to make things awkward. I already know my web version has something that none of the others have. I may put that thing into the PC version. Because some things on this game will not work on a phone. It won't be practical to put them in a small form factor, whereas a PC, you need something bigger, a little bit more room. And that's like the play editor. You'll be able to see more, do more kind of thing on a PC. And as I add more features, maybe some different things will exist. I've thought about making the phone version only work on the phone, but I want your stuff to sync so that you can go to other, kind of like a lot of, it's going to be difficult to come up with the right way to do this. I thought about just having you pay a flat fee on Steam, and then if you want the phone version, it's like an extra $5 or something. But I want people to discover the game through the phone. So maybe I do something like it's $5 on the phone. You know, you buy it on the phone, you get to play it on the phone. You only get to play it on the phone. But if you want the PC version, it's an extra 20 bucks. And then they connect together. I don't know. Because I don't want to keep charging people for things like I don't want paywalls and pay ceilings, and I want people just to be able, once they have the game, I want them to just be able to play the game together, cross play, whatever. I like the idea of being able to allow people to play for free indefinitely, but I don't know what to motivate them to buy stuff without creating paywalls and pay ceilings or having, you know, FOMO. No, is it FOMO? No. YOLO. You only live once. You know the. Oh no, it is FOMO, which is fear of missing out. YOLO is you only live once, but that's kind of both applicable, right? I only live once. I love this game. I'm gonna get it. No, FOMO is fear of missing out. I don't want to. They're gonna have this thing, and I can't have it unless I pay for it. Which is, you know, Marvel Snap does that with their season tickets. I like the idea of a season ticket, but I haven't figured out fully what I want to do in a season ticket. I want to give, like I said, I don't want people to feel like they can't play the game. I think season tickets are cool in the sense that you get stuff even if you're not a buyer of the season ticket. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't worked it all out, and we're not there yet. The money aspect of this game is not in existence yet, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm telling you, that's where I'm headed. PC first, probably around 20 bucks for the PC version. Because that seems to be about the right starting place for a football management game, assuming I can get enough features in there to justify 20 bucks. I think some of them start off cheaper, but ultimately, as the game gets more progress. Okay, so this is another thing. I'm going to try to do updates for all of them. Like every version is the same game, and that's another problem. I want to be able to keep doing updates on the game. Just add stuff, add features, just let the game keep growing and let people experience that. But the problem is, if you go with fixed fee, you never make more money, right? Because the next version is part of the same version. It's already in existence. Like Microsoft Windows now, right? They just keep updating it. They haven't gotten around where they're charging people for Windows anymore because they've just been doing constant updates. How do you charge? You just finally say, okay, we're not doing another update for this. We're at Windows, whatever, we're going to stop, and the next version is going to be pay. I mean, they could do that, but I'm just saying, how do I keep making the game stay live and healthy and still provide income? I can yeah, see, that's tough. And then how do you not? I mean, it's like if I wanted to like just have a version 2026, 2027, my game has a back end and has all these other parts. How do I do that? And I also want to build the game so that so the game is not locked to the servers. If it stops making money and I go poor and have to close it down, I want the game to still work. I want people to still be playing it. I don't know. That's a tricky concept on how how to do that in a way that feels fair to everybody. You know, there's got to be something. You can't please everybody all the time, right? You can what is it? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please any of the people all the time, something like that, or all the people all the time. You can all the people some of the time, and some of the people some of the I don't know, something like that, something in that nature. But that's the tricky part. You got to know. You got to know what you can do. And my goal is to not alienate everybody, or not alienate a significant. But the last thing I want to do is please none of the people any of the time. That would be the worst. It's like, oops, that didn't work. Gotta please some of the people, at least occasionally. All of the people, all of the time, hate you and your game. When a team is selected, it should be moved to the top. All right. You know what? We're going to go ahead with that. And I think I'm going to move my object up. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do top of the list. I think in my mind, I'm seeing a better. I'm seeing it being better as part of the top of the list instead of the bottom of the list. I may have to move it, but for now. When a team is selected, it should be moved to the top of the list. I hear my phone beeping. I don't know where it's beeping. It was beeping. Don't know where I put it. Is it in here? Oh, here it is. So, yeah. Let's kick this off. I'm going to go ahead and take a break, go do my dinner, maybe take a quick mental break, and see if I can stop fumbling with my words. When a team is selected, it should be moved to the top of the list, and the panel should shrink to that team logo, showing only the logo. When the logo is clicked, it will expand back out, allowing for the user to change their selection. Additionally, the list shown should consider No, I will do that. Nope, I don't need to do that here. That's a back-end thing. When the logo is clicked, it will expand back out, allowing for the user to change their selection. to a different active team. Okay, so I got Bezzy on the go. I've got Claude on the go. Hopefully they're not going to bump on each other. And yeah. Hi ho, hi ho. Thanks for stopping by, Chewin. Thanks for stopping by, MD Fury, and of course Karama, who's been a regular, stopping by saying hi. Gnaa. Thanks for your opinion on AI usage. Until next time, everybody. I will be back probably later. That's not kid myself. I will be back. I will be working on this. Whether I stream or not, we'll see. Sometimes I come in and I just start working and I just work until I go to bed. But when I do, I will. When I do see you next, I see you next. I hope you all follow. If you like this and you want to keep seeing how this game progresses, please, by all means, follow, subscribe, do whatever you can. And if you want to help me out and back me, feel free to check out my my KoFi page or my Patreon page. And keep an eye out for my Kickstarter when it happens. That won't happen until after I get my my demo done. So I at least have a demo, something I can show, and I have to figure out how to do a gameplay video. I don't know. I gotta get enough so I can do a gameplay, which means getting through a simulation, which means I gotta be busy for the next few weeks. Till next time.